Hello there folks, it's Aaron here from Push Square with another roundup of some of the best PS5 games available on PS Plus Extra. In this video we are turning our attention to the bountiful plains of the open world genre, solely focusing on the PS5 titles on the service. We absolutely love to lose ourselves in an open world game, investing in the lore, becoming the heroes we always knew we could be. So if you're craving that call to duty to save a world from impending doom, or you just want to chill in some cool setting, then here are the best open world PS5 games on PS Plus Extra. Kicking off the list with an absolute classic. You knew it had to be here, but The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim defined a generation of open world RPGs, and then made the jumps to the next generation, and the generation after that. Yep, this one absolutely refuses to be forgotten, and will try to convince you of yet another replay with its special edition on PS5. This comes with all the add-ons along with a bunch of remastered visual components such as lighting and depth of field, and even brings the power of some mods to PlayStation. But looking at the game itself, you have Bethesda's magnum opus, an enormous game for the time, filled with stunning locations and hidden secrets, along with collectible armors, weapons and spells that make your build options near infinite. Skyrim is deliberately a lot, but you don't become a classic without reason, and that makes it to this day worth checking out. What is an open world games list without a Far Cry title? The series that perfected the open world formula with Far Cry 3 hasn't changed much at all in the following 11 years, but that doesn't mean that it's still not fun to lose ourselves in a classic Ubisoft experience. And that is, in the truest sense, exactly what Far Cry 6 is. We're back at it with a tropical setting, this time the fictional Cuban-inspired island of Yara, with the ruthless El Presidente Anton Castillo, played by the one and only Giancarlo Esposito, ruling over the residents with an iron fist. It's up to young Danny to start a revolution. In typical Far Cry fashion, you'll have camps to capture, animal skins to acquire, towers to climb, components to collect, and weapons to upgrade. It's your go-to laundry list open world game, which can be a negative thing to say, but I suspect I'm not entirely alone in saying that sometimes that's exactly the kind of game that I'm looking for. It's got a vast, vibrant world to explore, cool explosive action to engage in, and a nice heroic story to experience. If Far Cry 6 is the pinnacle of a to-do list open world, then Chia is the exact opposite, focusing a bit more purposely on exploration. It wants you to soak up the landscapes rather than bury your nose in menus, so you'll be traversing the beautiful archipelago by foot, boat, and of course, creatures, because Chia can soul jump into other animals such as birds. Chia's world is heavily inspired by the dev's native home of New Caledonia, drawing from its culture as well as its landscapes. Through the music and its gorgeous colour palette, trekking up a hill and watching the sunset can be really soothing in a way, and I had a lot of fun with this game just taking in the sights. It's also not a very long game, so if you do want to dip your toes into an exploration experience without having to commit to a 100-hour RPG, then this is a great option. Next up we have a slightly different kind of open world. Riders Republic is a sports title that lets you ride bikes, BMXs, snowboards, skis, jetpacks, wingsuits, snowmobiles, and soon enough in an upcoming expansion, skateboards. So yes, this is a big online experience where you will level up in various departments in the hope of upgrading your gear, as well as the outfits you sport. The thing is, it's all just so much fun. It's the kind of game that lets you choose what sports elements you want to focus on, so me personally, I'm more of a biking guy that will occasionally try out a bit of snowboarding and basically ignore all the wingsuit activities. But if you want to do the opposite, then you totally can. Its massive setting, which is kind of an amalgamation of different American national parks, is a stunner on PS5, and it's great just ripping through the countryside on your freshly minted bike, even more so when you're playing with friends. You can literally just cycle around, come up to a race you like the look of, and register there. Riders Republic, in my opinion, is the perfect chill-out open world experience where you can play it for 20 minutes, you can play it for 3 hours, it really doesn't matter, it just wants you to have fun. The Yakuza series has steadily become an immensely popular franchise, with many of the series now being available via PS Plus Extra. But if you're looking for one of the best open world experiences in the series, then you can't really go wrong with Like a Dragon, the entry that sort of revitalized what a Yakuza game could be. It features a turn-based combat system, a host of likeable characters, and a new setting in the form of the Yokohama district. Comparatively, this is a pretty small open world, but it does that Yakuza thing, absolutely ramming that space to its fullest with quests, minigames, and stores. There's always something to do in this RPG, and quite often it's whimsically humorous. There's quite a meaty offering of content here that'll take you the best part of 50 hours to complete, but with such a range to its content, you'll never have a dull moment. Another Ubisoft title to make this list, but truthfully one that's a little bit different from your usual Ubisoft affair. Set within the vibrantly colourful world of Greek mythology, Fenyx must save the bumbling gods from Typhon. It's got those usual underpinnings of a Ubisoft title with lots of weapons, armours and general collectibles to uncover across its world, but it does it all within that context of Greek mythology. You'll constantly come across long-told tales, characters and locations that really give exploration of its world that extra layer of purpose. When I played the game, landmarks were catching my eye much more because I began to think, why is it like that? Or who is this mysterious figure? It meant that I was exploring for my own personal curiosity as much as I was in pursuit of upgrading my character. And to top it all off with its mythology-inspired enemies, combat is a lot of fun. Death Stranding is a weird open world game in the sense that it's almost entirely empty. You'll spend your time wandering barren landscapes, coming across nothing more than entrances to underground bunkers, or maybe the odd camp of cargo nicking mules, but that's because the game isn't really concerned with hidden collectibles or camps to conquer. It's all about traversal in a way that a river or a cliff's edge can be just as intimidating as a group of enemies chasing you down. That is the magic of Death Stranding. It's got a sci-fi story surrounding it that only Kojima could have conjured up, but for me, the game is at its best when those narrative aspects fade away and all that's on your mind is getting from point A to B. You'll be considering which gear to bring with you, which ranges from ladders to ropes for abseiling, how much cargo you can actually carry, and then how to most efficiently transport materials that can go towards making roads, zip lines, bridges and charging stations. Honestly, the amount of time I spent trying to establish roads from one end of the map to the other is absurd. It's a great world to invest yourself in. Miles Morales takes the setting of New York City and makes it snowy. That's about the only way in which the map actually changes from Spider-Man to Miles Morales. But the thing is, New York was such a fun playground in the first place that just having this makeover, along with Miles' new powers to beat up baddies with, the concrete jungle remains a solid and entertaining setting. This is one of those manageable open worlds which I absolutely adore, where you can get the most out of it without having to part with too much time. Miles Morales is actually a little shorter than Spider-Man as well, which I know some people were a little disappointed by, but I think there's a lot of power in knowing how long your game needs to be, and this didn't need to be as big as the first game, but it's still got all of those qualities that you found in Spider-Man, like the best swinging mechanics in any Spider-Man game, amplified by Miles' signature style. A great wee story to enjoy here as well, and a bunch of collectibles and challenges that will ensure you get the most out of your trip to NYC. Arguably one of the coolest settings in this list, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut invites you to the sweeping vistas of the very real Tsushima Island. Playing as Jin Sakai, you are a samurai tasked with saving the island from the invading Mongolians, and it's a story here that will capture the hearts of many players as Jin is pushed to the edge as he steadily goes outside of the code of the samurai. But we're here to talk about open worlds, and Ghost of Tsushima has one of the most beautiful you'll find on PlayStation. It has an almost simplified art style which focuses more on colour than it does specific details, and it gives it a romanticised look almost, even though there is a lot of death and despair at every turn just about. The game allows you to live out that samurai fantasy with some incredibly cinematic combat that is actually kinda difficult if you aren't paying too much attention. Now I cannot believe that I've made it this far into a video about open world games without mentioning side quests, but Tsushima's side quests are some top tier stuff. Sort of angled like their own mini campaigns with several chapters, they make you all the more invested in the squad that you build up in your travels. And just to round it off, props to a game that can make you look this cool. Horizon Forbidden West takes our top spot for the best open world PS5 game on PS Plus Extra. This is a beast of a game that doubles down in its sci-fi aspects to deliver a balls-to-the-wall crazy story that is, in my opinion, miles better than the first game. The combat has been spiced up considerably, allowing for much more variety in how you handle different robot dinosaur types, and the world itself feels a bit more lively. I don't know, it just has a bit more of a hustle to it than Zero Dawn did. It certainly helps that you'll get to visit some crumbly versions of recognisable locations, and it looks utterly stunning on the PS5. I just loved how the world was sort of evolving and always keeping you on your toes as you gradually ventured off to the titular Forbidden West. It's got a nice structure to it where the game is open and you can, to a degree, go wherever you want, but you're very naturally exploring the map as the story progresses, which I think is a very underrated feature of this game. But really, you don't need me to tell you that a post-apocalyptic world filled with robot dinosaurs that looks this good is a game that you need to check out. Well folks, that's it for our collection of the best open world PS5 games available via PS Plus Extra in 2023. Let me know down in the comments your favourite from the list, plus any you think should have been included. Remember, we're looking for native PS5 entries, so no PS4 games here. But anyway, thank you for checking out the video. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content. And until next time, I've been Aaron, and this has been Push Square.